Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video. I'm Dakota if you're new, and if you're not, welcome back. I feel like I get annoying. So today, I thought I would talk to y'all about my crazy, psycho ex-boyfriend. Breathe, Dakota, breathe. Little disclaimer, I am not talking about Ella's dad. This is my just ex-boyfriend. Let's just leave it like that. So it all started when I decided to make a Plenty of Fish account. I had just gotten out of my relationship with Ella's dad. We actually live 4 hours apart, and I was moving back to Houston to be with my family. And I was really depressed at the time, you know, how most people are when they get out of a relationship. And I just wanted someone to talk to when I came across, let's call him Ricky. No, let's call him Nick. Let's use Nick. Okay, so I started messaging Nick and we hit it off really well. We started talking on the phone. Well, first we started messaging on Plenty of Fish. We talked for a couple of days, then we exchanged phone numbers and we started messaging each other on text messages. And then it turned into phone calls, and we would stay up until like 2 o'clock in the morning just talking, like 5 hours straight. Like I would put Ella to bed at 8:30, he'd call me at 9, and we'd literally talk until 2 or 3 in the morning. And I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really hitting it off with this guy. He's really chill. We have a lot in common. Like, it's going really well. And also, I was in the worst state of mind because I just got out of a relationship. I mean, it's not that I just got out of a relationship, because Ella's dad and I, we had been split up for a while, but we were still like not completely split up, if that makes any sense. So I was still, you know, sad, because obviously I'm gonna be sad about leaving Ella's dad, you know. So anyway, I'm like super excited. I'm hitting it off with this guy, and I'm just like, oh my god, maybe I am gonna get married after all. I'm so stupid. Oh my god. He wanted to take me out on a date that weekend. So we had been talking for a week. Wanted to take me out on a date that weekend. And I told him I couldn't because I was going out of town. So we were gonna wait till the next weekend. The next weekend came and we met halfway because I didn't want him knowing where I lived, you know, at first, my first time meeting him. So we met halfway because he lived like an hour away from me. So we met at the Cheesecake Factory, which is where we ended up eating. And our meals were like, he ordered something, and on my first date I'm always super nervous. Like I can't really eat. I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm just like nervous. I don't even know, I just can't think right. And so he orders his, and I just get the same thing he got because I can't even think. You know, whenever I first stepped out of the car and I saw him, okay, step back a little bit, rewind. So I get out of the car, so we meet each other, get out of the car, I see this guy, I'm like, oh my god, he's so tall, he's so cute. I'm like, dang, like, okay, this might work. Okay, so we go into the Cheesecake Factory. He orders some kind of like chicken and noodle type thing, so I get the same thing he got, and it was actually really good. And then he gets the bill, and it was like $18 a piece. I'm like, oh my god, that's so expensive. I mean, like, I've had guys pay for me and stuff, but like, I don't know, I was just like, that's really expensive. And our next date, if there is one, I was like, I'll pay for it. And he was like, really? You know, I've never had a girl do that for me before. And I was like, yeah, I mean, all relationships, I feel like, should be 50-50. And he was like, wow, I mean, okay. So then like a couple weeks, or maybe it was a week, goes by, we go out on another date, and we met at the same place, but we didn't go to the same place. There was like these little like pubs that were around, like really nice ones, and there was like, you go outside, you could eat, there was like little bonfires and chairs, and it was really nice. And so we decided to go there and eat and get some drinks. He knew I was paying, and he just starts ordering all these drinks, like these shots, for me and him both. Not even asking me, you know, if I wanted the shot. He was like, you're gonna drink this. This is so good. You have to try it. I was like, okay. The shots were $10 a piece. And like, I'm not like a cheapskate, but like, don't take advantage of me, okay? And so he starts ordering all these drinks, and I'm just at the point that I'm just like, you know what, Dakota, like, don't worry about the money, just let loose, have a good time. So he keeps ordering these drinks. My bill gets up to $150, and he didn't offer to pay half because he knew I was paying. So I paid for it, and then he wanted to go to another bar. So we went to another one, and I paid for that, and that bill was like $50. So at this point, I spent $200 on this guy that I've known for 2 weeks, and I'm just like, Dakota, you know, like, I'm the type of person when I'm in a relationship, I want to give it my all. Like, I want them to know that I care about them, and I don't want them to feel like they have to do all the work or they have to spend all the money. Like, I don't know. I've been in relationships where the guy has spent all his money on me, and I used to have that mindset where I thought that's how it was supposed to be, and then I came to realize that really, to me, my opinion, that isn't how it's supposed to be. You know, you should do 50-50. And so, anyway, so that date, I mean, it ends well. I was just upset that I spent $200 freaking on this guy. But anyways, at this point, this was our second date, and on this second date, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I was like, oh my God, like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So, we're like official or whatever. He hadn't met my daughter yet. My daughter is 3 years old now, and we broke up about 7 months ago. So we had been dating for 2 weeks, and I was in the state of mind where I'm really excited that I'm dating this guy, and I'm just like, you know, I think he's the one. After 2 weeks, yes, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just like, oh my God, like, what if I end up marrying this guy? And I really want him to meet my family. I want him to meet my daughter because he's just amazing. Like, I haven't been in a relationship where someone was this good to me, and he was really good to me for what I thought at first. 3 weeks go by, and we decided to go out to eat, and I wanted him to meet Ella, my daughter. And so we go to Texas Roadhouse. Ella loves him, like, right off the bat. She clicked with him, like, she loved him. I ended up paying for that dinner, once again. After we ate, he went back to his house, I went back to my house. And then, so, after that dinner that we had with him and Ella, I was going out of town for like a week or something to go visit family in Dallas. God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. I think I just tried to like block this relationship out. So I went back to Dallas, and we're texting the whole time. I was gone for maybe like a week or something. And he's like, I can't wait for you to come home. I'm gonna be at your house waiting for you. And I was like, please don't. Like, please do not be at my house waiting for me, because I have a 4-hour drive back home, and I'm gonna be looking like crap. Like, at least let me like get my car unloaded and let me take a shower and get ready, please. And he was like, no, I'm gonna be there waiting for you. And I was just like, oh my God, what if maybe I can tell him that I'm gonna be, I was like, maybe I can tell him I'm gonna get home at 6 when really I'm gonna get home at 4. That way I have time to unload my car and take a shower and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, I know you're not getting home at 6. You already told me you're getting home at 4. And I said, well, my GPS said this. And he knew I was lying. So I was like, okay. So I get there, and he wasn't there. Like, I get back to my house with Ella because her dad lives in Dallas, so she went to go visit him, so I drive up there so she can visit him, and then we were on our way back home. And we get home, he's not there, so I'm like, thank God. So I can unload my car, do all that I need to get done, laundry, everything. I think like an hour goes by, and he shows up at my door with flowers. And I'm like, oh my God. And he brought flowers for me, my daughter, and my mom. And I'm just like, that is the sweetest thing ever. Like, I've never had a guy do that. I mean, Ella's dad did that before on Valentine's Day, but like, anyways, he brought us flowers, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe he brought like my daughter flowers like that, and my mom, like, that was just the sweetest thing. And my papa was like, he goes up to Nick, and he says, I really appreciate you walking around my grass. Because my papa has this thing with his grass, like, he does not like when people walk on it, stand on it, put stuff on it, nothing. Like, it's his grass and he likes it to stay green, I guess. So he was like, I really respect you for not walking on my grass. And Nick was like, oh, you're welcome. Anyway, so they hit what I thought. I was like, oh, they're hitting it off. Great. And then my mom meets him, and she seemed like she liked him. And anyway, so the weekend goes by. He like went out to eat with my family and us, and then he goes home. And my mom comes in my room, and she was just like, Coda, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? She was like, I just don't get a good vibe from him. And at this point, I'm just pissed off because I feel like I finally met this good guy. He's so good to my daughter. Just like, seriously? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't get a weird vibe from him. Like, he seems fine. And she was like, I don't know what it is. I just don't get a good vibe. So me and my mom got into a huge argument, and I pretty much stopped talking to her at this point. Not, I mean, completely stopped talking to her, but it was to the point that we weren't talking much. And I think the next weekend I was going back to Dallas, and I wanted him to go with me. And, oh, wait, no. Okay, so he had a son. Nick had a son, and he had to go to court, and he wanted me to go with him. And I was like, that's okay. I mean, because his court date was in Dallas, and I was like, well, I have family there, so we can go with you. And he was going to stay with his grandparents, and Ella and I were going to stay at my other family's house. We take his truck, and what we were going to do, so we were riding in the same car. We were going to drive to his grandparents' house. I was going to drop him off there, and then me and Ella were going to take his truck to my family's house. So we're driving, and we're in the car. Ella's in the back seat, and we're going to get food. And we get Taco Bell or whatever, and then we're on our way to Dallas or to wherever his grandparents live. And he starts telling me this story about his neighbor's dog, or his neighbor had this dog that would always come and get in their yard, and they would get so pissed at the dog, so his neighbor told Nick and one of his friends to take care of it. So they stole the dog. Like, the dog came running into their neighbor's yard. They stole the dog, and him and his friend took it to like some pond or something, and his friend was gonna shoot it. And he's telling me this story, and mind you, like, I love animals, okay? And he's telling me this story, and I'm just like looking straight ahead, like I can't even look at him at this point. And he's like, my friend was gonna shoot the dog, but he couldn't do it, so I took the gun and I shot it, and he starts laughing. I was furious. And I looked at him and I said, you shot a freaking dog that wasn't even yours? And he was like, yeah, I just shot him in the head. And I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head, oh my God, this guy is psychotic. And he's laughing. I'm like, oh my God, he's freaking psycho. Like, I'm in the car, my daughter's sitting in the back seat. I'm like, do I just like jump out of this moving car? Like, what do I do? And I was so furious with him. He knew I was mad. I was like, I can't believe you would tell me a story like that. And he was like, why? I was like, you know how much I love animals. Why in the world would you do something like that? And not only that, but after they shot the dog, they put up, I guess the family who owned the dog was putting up signs saying it was missing, and they saw the signs and didn't bother to tell the family what they had done. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I was scared. And we were already like an hour in the drive. I was like, well, we can't go back. Like, I'm almost to my family's house. I'm just like, oh my God, just get through the weekend. Also, background about him, he was a cop. He was a former cop in his old town. He used to live in this old little town where everyone knew everyone. And he resigned or he got fired. I never really knew exactly what happened because every time I would bring it up, he would get pissed, like so mad. And I never really understood why. Like, he told me that he left because he caught his 2 coworkers that were married to other people having sex in a car. and he caught it on his, like, he was driving his cop car. He had, you know, they have like cameras, I guess, in the front of their car to capture whatever's going on in front of them. So he drives up in his cop car and he sees them having sex in the car, and it's all on camera. And I guess he went and told his boss or something. The boss was brothers with the guy that he caught having sex with this girl. And the boss was like, he pretty much said that he couldn't do anything about it, or he was going to get fired, or he was going to fire him or something. I can't exactly remember. But that was pretty much all he would tell me. And then he told me that his boss, a police officer, his boss sent someone to beat him up in a gas station store. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. I was just like, okay. And at this point, I'm just like, I feel like he's lying to me. And my mom tried to like research him, you know, do a background check on him, and she could not find anything. She's like, Dakota, I just find it really odd that I can't find anything on him. Like, that's not normal. My mom's a good, you know, detective, okay? Like, my mom can find out anything on anyone. And she could not find anything on this guy. And so she was scared for me and my daughter. And now, you know, looking back on it, I'm just like, I can't believe I ever brought Ella around him. And now I'm so scared to date. Like, you know, this was 7 months ago, and I was like, I am done with dating apps. I'm just done, because I can't trust anyone. I had this one guy start messaging me, and it's like, I want to message him. Like, I knew him from junior high, and I want to message him, but I'm just like, I'm scared. Like, are you psychotic too? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's scary. And it's even more scary because I do have a daughter, and I have to think about her too. And I just don't like having to worry about that. Like, I feel happy where I'm at. I feel happy just worrying about me and her right now. And I don't want to have to worry about a guy. It's just too stressful. I just get irritated with them too quick anyway. I don't know. I just feel like he was crazy. Oh, and get this. So one day, yeah, it got so, like, we told each other we loved each other, like, all sorts of stuff. And we decided that we wanted to move in together. After 2 months, guys. Okay, I know I'm stupid. Like, you don't even have to tell me. I know I'm stupid. But I felt like I was head over heels for this guy, and I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, we're looking at apartments, and Ella starts throwing this huge fit. So I pick her up, I take her outside, put her in the car seat. I was like, I'm just done. I'm done looking at apartments today. I want to go home. I get her buckled in, we get in the car, and he goes, when can I start punishing her? Excuse me? And I said, what? And he said, when can I start punishing her? I just stared at him because I'm like, did this guy really just ask me when he can start punishing my daughter? And I said, what do you mean punishing? He goes, like spanking her. Oh my God. Yeah. Never. He came with me once to pick her up from school, and he goes, you would really know if you loved me if you'd put me on the list to pick her up from school. And I just looked at him, and I was so uncomfortable at this point. I just laughed, because I laugh when I get nervous. I laugh when I'm like just anything. Like, I laugh at everything, but I was so, oh my God, like, I could not believe he just said that. Who says something like that? I'll know if you really love me if you put me on the list to pick your daughter up from school. No! This guy, I'm telling y'all, he was psychotic. And not to mention, so he had a son, and him and his baby mama, or his ex, whatever y'all want to call her, they did not get along at all. He hated talking to her. And going through, I mean, I was never married to Ella's dad, but going through, you know, a separation, I still talk to him because that's what's best for Ella. I mean, we don't talk every day, but I talk to him whenever I need to talk to him about Ella. I talk to him, you know, whenever he's going to see her and I need to figure out what weekend he's going to get her. We still talk. he would not talk to this girl. Nick would not talk to his son's mother. And I told him, I understand that you don't like her, but you still need to have some kind of a relationship with her. You need to be able, excuse me, whew. I was like, you need to be able to message her or contact her whenever it has to do with your son. And he didn't have custody of his son. I was like, don't you want to see pictures of him? And he was a baby. Like, he wasn't even a year old. He was so cute, and he was just a little tiny baby. And he was like, no, I don't want to talk to that. And I was kind of irritated because I guess this is how most guys think, you know. They got something stuck up their friggin' ass and they can't talk to the mother of their child. Luckily, I don't feel like I have that problem. But it was so bad. It got to the point he asked me to contact his baby mama to get his child's social security number. Mind you, we have been dating for 2 months at this point, and he wanted me to get the social security number of his child. So, trying to be the good girlfriend, I called her, and he was sitting there right next to me, and I said, hey, let's call her Victoria. I was like, hey, Victoria, Nick wanted me to call you and get the social security of your son. And she was like, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable giving out his social security. And I was like, I completely understand. I didn't want to call you in the first place, but you know, I'm a pushover, so yeah. And anyway, so I got off the phone with her and I told him, I was like, she's not going to give me his social security. And I made him message her, so he did. And like, after this, he would get so mad whenever I would even bring her up, because I would always bring his son up. And I was like, you know, how's he doing? Have you heard how he's doing? I mean, have you asked how he's doing? And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, he would get so pissed. And I'm just like, okay. And I ended up going to this court date that he had because she didn't want him having custody of him at all. And there was like a whole bunch of stories that she told me after we were already broken up, and I was just like, oh my God, thank God I'm not dealing with that anymore. So I went to the court hearing with him, and man, was there drama. But I'm not going to go into that because that's their business. That didn't happen with me, so whatever. I guess it was like a week after, or maybe a couple weeks after the court hearing, and we were talking, like we were texting or something, and I can't remember exactly what I got mad at him for, or I think I got mad at him, but I just stopped texting him, because I was, at this point, I did not care to be with him. I was like, he's psychotic, I don't want anything to do with him. Like a month after that, I text his ex, just warning her, because I was finally getting all the signs that other people were getting. Oh, and I'm like sidetracking. I have the brain of a squirrel. I had also brought him to Dallas with me to meet some of my family. And I told them before I brought him, I was like, okay, my mom does not get good vibes from this guy. So I need you to tell me what y'all think as soon as y'all meet him. And they were like, yeah, you know, we'll tell you the truth, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, good. So we spent the weekend with them. And then we come back home and I get a message from my sister. I call her my sister, but that's another story. So I get a message from her and she was like, Dakota, because she could tell, like, I was actually happy with this guy. Like, it was the first relationship I had been in since Ella's dad, and I really thought I was happy. And she messaged me and she just told me, you know, I really don't get a good vibe from him. He seems to be very controlling over you. I would be talking with my family and he would be sitting down, and she said that she would like see him just staring at us and like have this angry look on his face. Like, he did not want me talking to them. Like, he wanted me to only be spending time with him. She was like, I'm sorry, I just don't really get a good vibe from him. I think the whole police officer thing is sketchy, and like he doesn't like talking about being a police officer. Like he gets pissed off every time you bring it up, like something's sketchy. And I was so mad. I was so mad, you guys. I messaged her back and I kind of went off on her, and I'm stupid, I know. I just wasn't in the right mindset. I just wasn't. And I ended up apologizing to her for it because I was like, oh my god. Anyway, after we broke up, I finally started seeing what everyone else was seeing. I was like, this guy really was crazy. Like, how was I not seeing this? I would get physically disgusted that I was with someone like that, and I brought someone like that around my child. I cried. I didn't cry at the fact that I broke up with him. I cried at the fact that I brought someone like him around my daughter. I mean, it sickens me. Like, he was a terrible person. He's terrible. I mean, this story might not make it come across how terrible of a person he was, but he was just, I don't even know. Anyway, moral of the story, guys, I was with this person for 2 months, and I thought I was head over heels in love with this guy, and I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. So I just hope whoever's watching this, you get a learning lesson or something, because I was stupid, very stupid. Yeah, I don't know how long I'll wait until I start dating again, just because it is very hard for me to trust people at this point. But anyways, if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel, and comment down below what other story times you might want to hear, or any of that jazz, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.